Welcome everybody, my name is Sebastian Sosa and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a fast, speedy burger with making the least amount of mess possible from zero, meaning from the moment you walk in and think about making a burger to the moment you put the burger in your mouth. So let's get started. But before that, I'm going to introduce you to the burger and its history. So in the 4th century is the earliest recording of burgers, and then afterwards in the 17th century it began to be used in cookbooks, most notably as it landed in Hamburg, Germany, hence the name Hamburg, from the Russians. And then in the 1920s, White Castle opened the first chain of burgers in America, and then ever since, the burger has become an American trademark to the point that 70% of beef is consumed as burgers. So, without further ado, let's get started. So what you're gonna need is first your ingredients: salt, pepper. I have Swiss. I use lemons. I'll show you later how I use them. A tomato, arugula or lettuce, whichever you prefer. And then underneath, it's a mix of cilantro and onion. Something I make before so that it is much easier to utilize the onion, so that you don't have to cut it and start like shedding tears. You know, it's much more convenient to already have it cut up and then frozen before anything. And then the burger buns, the burger patty itself, the cutting board. This is gonna serve, like, look, I use this as a plate, and if it wasn't for time constraints, I'd likely grill the burger. But at the moment, this is just gonna serve as a representation of either the grill or the stove, whatever you want to use. A knife to cut all the things up, and a spatula to flip the burgers. So step number 1 would be to take your patties out, take your salt and pepper out, and then go straight to the grill, light it up, and start cooking. So we're gonna take what I prefer to do. Well, how many burgers I usually get is 2, so I'm gonna get 2 burgers out and put them on the grill. The grill's already on fire, so imagine that already cooking. Then I would use salt and pepper, pour them on top of the patties, on top of each patty. And then I can forget about that for most of the process. Alright, so afterwards, I can put this away, put this in the corner with the salt and pepper. I will be using the salt and pepper later, but for now, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be taking out the rest of the materials. Meaning, I'm going to be taking out, the first things I'm going to need to take out and get ready is the cheese, which my preference is Swiss cheese, and the buns. That way, because those are the other things that are also running on a thin timeline, so on a short timeline. So, because I'm going to need to grill them in unison with the burgers. As I'm going to put the cheese on the burgers while they're on fire, and I will use the buns while the grill is running. So I'm going to prepare these 2. I'm going to lay them here, and then afterwards, once I'm done with that, I can start chopping up my materials. Because my materials are partially already chopped up, since I use arugula instead of lettuce, and arugula is already separated, and I have onions already chopped up, we're just going to be looking at two other ingredients. My lemon, which is unusual, but you guys, I'm sure you guys have unusual things you like. So you can fill this in with whatever unusual thing you like to put on your burger. Maybe a sauce. I don't like sauces, so I put lemons. And a tomato. But first, we must wash the tomato. Now, I'm gonna wash it right here, quickly. Just poured some water on it. Nothing much. And then I'm gonna chop it up, especially the big ones. The big ones are perfect for burgers because that means you only have to do 1 slice. I cut it straight down the middle, and then hold it in there, and then chop one side of the middle, and chop the other side. And there you have two thick tomato slices that you can use on your burger. In the meantime, while the burgers are getting cooked, because this doesn't usually take a lot of time. Depends on whether or not you're well aware of where everything is positioned, how long this is really going to take you. You should prepare all of the materials on your plate, or in my case, this cutting board. That is pretty much, I built everything on this cutting board, cut everything on this cutting board, eat everything on this cutting board. So really, I just use that. But for demonstration's sake, I separated it. So then, I have arugula. I'm just gonna pour it on, get it ready. Right there's my arugula that I'm gonna use on both the burgers. I'm gonna take my Swiss out. 2 slices of Swiss, 1 for each patty. 1, 2. And in the meantime, as the rest of the tomato is taking up space, I would put it in a plastic bag. So in a moment, I'll just put it here. And then I additionally also take the patties out. Not the patties, the buns. I'll take the buns out to get them ready for use. So then here are the buns, and my cilantro with onion. I just have to break a little bit, and then I put it on the corner of whatever stand you're gonna be using to put all your materials. So I'm just gonna put a little bit right here. And then the reason you put it on the corner and you spread it out is so that, for me specifically, as I freeze them, I want to keep them close to the grill as I lay the stuff there and work on the patties. So now the patties are going to be very well cooked. They're going to be around 70% cooked. So now all I got to do is flip the patties. Put some salt and pepper. And then all I have to do is make sure everything's ready, make sure everything's cleaned up, so maybe put away some things that you won't be using. For me, in my case, it's gonna be the arugula, it's gonna be the onions, I'm gonna put these away. It's gonna be the Swiss cheese, I'm not using that, it's gonna be the buns, it's gonna be nearly everything. Because you're really only gonna have like 2 or 3 minutes and the patties are gonna be ready and you need to start working on those soon. So I put these 2 away, and just put everything else away. So afterwards, as they're already cooking, you're gonna move them to the side so that they're not right underneath the flame. You're gonna put the buns underneath the flame, and then you're gonna put the cheese on top of the patties, and then you wait. Then you wait a couple minutes. In the couple minutes, I can chop the lemon up. I chop the lemon up in 5 pieces, the center, and then the 4 sides. And now that everything's ready, everything's cooked, the cheese is melted, and the patties and the buns are a little bit toasted, you will stack everything up on your plate. So you're gonna need to make some space. You open up the bun, you put the patty on top, you stick 1 tomato, and then your lettuce or arugula, and then put the onions on top. And then what I do is I squeeze the lemon on top of the bun. And then from there, you have your burgers. You can get your chips out, you can pour them on your plate, or do as you please. And that is how you make a delicious burger. From zero to your mouth.